Christmas to you. I'm Debbie Georgiani along with Jerry Usher, and we want to welcome you to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. This is your show where we take a fresh look at ourselves and the world around us with your participation. And Jerry and I just love these live shows that are between Christmas and New Year's because it just gets us ready to start off a new year in grand style. And we love to do that together. And that's what Take Two's all about. So if you just tuned in, you're wondering how this show works, well, you'll get the hang of it in just a few minutes and maybe you'll participate. But we sure want you to listen the entire hour because hopefully you'll learn something. You'll grow a little, get a little closer to God. Well, Jerry, I hope I gave the introduction properly, because I'm looking forward to this topic that you laid out for us because I think it's going to have some interesting takes.
Well, yeah, we are all inundated with news and headlines and stories and snippets and social media and good news and a lot of bad news and violence and anger and hatred and death and all this stuff. And we're in for another year of that when it comes to the news. But what we wanted to do today is we wanted to ask you, dear listeners of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, if you could dream or wish or hope for one news headline, one story, some event to happen, put it into the form of a news headline for 2019, what would it be? What would it be? It would be, it could be something like, I don't know. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm so excited. I couldn't wait. Jerry. I've been dying to tell this. I would love to see in 2019 the headlines read, just world shocker. Okay, the world has woken up from their slumber and it's a return to God. They realize, the world population realizes we need God. Not we want God, we need God, okay? Because everybody wants God when something's going wrong, but we need God. And I would just love to see something like that where God is splashed all over the headlines in a positive way. I wanted to say this so badly. I would love it. Wouldn't that be cool?
Well, yeah, and that would be a great headline. What about something like, Republicans and Democrats vote unanimously with no abstentions on a bill proposed by the president, or it could be anything. It could be a cure finally found for cancer, or it could be no shootings on inner city streets in all of 2019. So that's the thing we want to talk about today. If you could really, and these are things we should be praying for anyway. We should be praying that we get along, especially in Congress, and that no people get shot on city streets, and that people come back to God. So these are not outlandish things that we would be putting forth today. But dear friends, what would your breaking news headline be if you could develop one and have the story go along with it in 2019? Okay,
well, I'm sticking to a return to God. That would be my just complete dream, wish, prayer for the world. I just wish it's time where we wake up and realize that God has to be central in our lives. And it's just amazing. So I like how you said, Jerry, just think creatively, and we should be praying for that. And it's very interesting because I sort of pray for that, but I never really specifically have prayed for that. So now I am going to. So it's kind of interesting. I'm already learning and adopting some new things for my prayer regimen. So we want to hear from you, dear listeners. What would your breaking news be for 2019? Think outside the box, something that you've wanted to always happen for this world or for your community or for the church. How about for the Catholic Church? We want to hear from you. Here's the number. 1-833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. You could write your own 2019 headline for the world. What would it be? This is exciting. I love dreaming big like this, Jerry. So thank you for putting this on the calendar.
Well, and it shows what kinds of hopes and dreams and even causes are on our hearts here. So what is it? Maybe it's childhood diseases of some kind. We see so often. We see the St. Jude's Children's Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
They do their fundraisers and so forth, and you see the young kids with cancers and other diseases, and it just breaks your heart. So maybe it's not going to happen, maybe it's not likely to happen, But if you could wish for something, what would it be? And no terrorist attacks in all of 2019. Let's just be
no
let's
abortions.
Just be, no abortions. No, Roe versus Wade overturned in 2019, something like that. That may not end all abortions, but it would certainly have an impact. So 833-288-3986. Debbie, before we go further,
Sure.
got a text message from a gentleman, good friend, and he's a listener. His name is Sean, and Sean Patrick. He lives in, I believe it's Western New York, and he says he's going to be with his father on, let's see here, I'm sorry, it's he says the first of his many new cancer surgeries is New Year's Eve, and he plans to drive to his parents' place this coming Sunday morning, and his dad is having apparently a cancer surgery on his prostate and his bladder. So Sean has asked us to pray for his father, whose name is Louis Edward. Edward,
Okay.
his middle name. I'm not going to give the last name, but so Take Two family, we're a praying family. Let's be praying
Absolutely.
for Louis Edward and all of those, Debbie, all of those who are in health crises, health situations of any kind.
Well, speaking of that, Jerry, we're going to be taking on a very big 2019 challenge together as a Take Two family, and we're going to be talking more about it in the today and tomorrow, and then early next week for the New Year's. And we're hoping that we get thousands that step up and take on the challenge together. It's a 365-day challenge, but we really feel like if we can do this together, it'll transform our hearts. It'll help us help others for now in this world and for eternity. So it's a big deal we're doing, but we're going to try to really step it up as a Take Two family. So please keep listening to Take Two the next couple of days to see how you can participate, because we're really going to ramp up prayers. We're prayer warriors. We know that because we've had 3.5 years of practice and we're doing well, but we're going to take it up a notch. And I think it's going to be an exciting challenge for all of us, Jerry.
It is, and I know we're going to have a lot of you participate as well. We have set up a brand new, never before used email account that you will be able to send in, and it's just for that purpose, just to say, all you have to do is say, yeah, I'm in, count me in. It's not going to be necessarily an email address that will correspond with you or anything like that. We just want to see who all is in on that, so that'll be something we'll be unveiling on Monday. But right now we're talking about breaking news. What headline would you like to see in 2019? Get a little imaginative, a little bit creative. Let the world know what you would be hoping for, dreaming for, asking God for to happen. Maybe no natural disasters. Maybe you live in an area where there are hurricanes or tornadoes, and you say you would love to see, on New Year's Eve of next year, no hurricanes touch down in this part of the country, whatever it be. 833-288-3986. We're going right to your calls with Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
What would be your wish for breaking news in 2019? That's what we're talking about today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Mine was a return to God, that we all need God. I mean, not just want God, because we all want God when we're in desperate need, but we really need God in this world, don't we? That would be my headline. And I know if I got that, I would be really happy. Just wanted to share real quickly the Bear Wozniak Adventure, Saturday night at 6 Eastern Time. Guys, check it out. Bear Wozniak does such a great job, and I just think you would really love the show and all that he uncovers and takes on, and it is just amazing. And Bear Wozniak does a fabulous job at helping us grow in our faith and to learn more about others and what's going on in the world. And it's at Saturday night, 6 Eastern Time. So we like to highlight these shows that we think would help you and benefit you. So please, check them out. As a matter of fact, keep EWTN on all day long. That's what I do, and it works out beautifully.
Real quick, another prayer intention. This text just came in, actually an email from a brother Knight of Columbus of mine. A lady named Marlene and another lady, J-O. They were in a car accident. Marlene was thrown from the car, but is still in relatively good shape, but Joe is not too good. So, dear friends, please keep Marlene and Joe and their families in your prayers as well. And we appreciate that so much, the ability to, and please note, dear listeners of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, we keep you and your prayers and your intentions in our prayers every day. And we ask that you do the same for us and for our intentions. And as Debbie said, we're going to be talking more about going more deeply into prayer on our show next Wednesday.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, our Facebook family has weighed in. Hi, guys. We're waving to you. Joanne says, abortion to be outlawed. We are embracing love. That would be her wish headline for 2019. Arthur says, March for Life in every major city in the U.S. Yeah, Arthur, that would be awesome. Timoteo, our friend Tim, says, war abolished as world turns back to God. Tim, you and I kind of share that same headline. That's awesome. Mariana says, Fulton Sheen to be canonized. I love it. Look at these are great. See, these are really productive, good, dreaming and prayerfully considering headlines. I think this could help. The more we think about those things and pray for those things and put those out there, the world may respond to it. So I think this is a good conversation, Jerry, already.
Yeah, we're going to the phones, 833-288-3986. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. If you could write a true headline, a true news headline for 2019, what would that be? And we're going to start out with Bernadette in Pittsburgh, Michigan, listening on Annunciation Radio. Hi, Bernadette. Welcome to Take Two. Good to have you with us.
Hello. Thank you. I would love for headline to say, no more wars, peace on earth. It seems like every time we turn the news on, everyone's shooting people, and I'm just so tired of it. I just want there to be love on this earth.
Yeah. You know what, Bernadette, that's an interesting headline you would write, and I think just about every one of us would, hopefully every one of us would want to share in seeing that happen. I remember hearing at one of the Christmas masses, and I've heard it many, many years before. What does it say, Debbie or Bernadette? Help me out here. It's one of those readings. It's kind of given the historical setting for the birth of Jesus, and it says, "In the whole world being at peace," or something. Maybe I'm paraphrasing there, but it's always struck me where it says the whole world being at peace. I thought, wow. It's possible. It's happened before. It could happen again. So, Debbie, I don't think this isn't pie-in-the-sky dreaming stuff. I mean, in today's world, it would be a real tough thing to pull off, but it could be possible.
Well, and I would say, Bernadette, as you were speaking, because you could hear it in your heart that that's really what you would want for the world. And I go back to Mother Teresa, Saint Teresa of Calcutta, and she used to always say when she walked this earth, if we just start in our homes, in our backyards with our friends, in our communities, we can branch that out, and it could eventually get throughout the whole entire world if we just would start with our families. So that that's a good reminder for all of us that we have to start at home and start where we can control things, and maybe it would catch on. What do you think, Bernadette?
I think exactly. That's right.
Mm-hmm. I know, because our homes
I love you guys, and I love this show.
Oh, bless your heart. You're a beautiful soul, Bernadette. Thank you. You have a great name, by the way, named after Saint Bernadette. Lucky.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bernadette. Merry Christmas to you. And we hope that 2019 is the best year of your life. And Debbie, I did do a little internet search on the bishop's website, at usccb.org.
Sure.
It's the nativity of our Lord Jesus Christ from the Roman martyrology. And it starts off, I won't read it all, but the 25th day of December, when ages beyond number had run their course from the creation of the world, when God in the beginning created heaven and earth and formed man in his own likeness. And it goes on and on and on. Mentions, Abraham and Moses and the Exodus and David. And you know the whole story. And then it says, in the 42nd year of the reign of Caesar Octavian Augustus, the whole world being at peace, Jesus Christ, eternal God and Son of the eternal Father, desiring to consecrate the world, and was born. So, yeah.
It's possible.
It is possible. It is possible. If that was the last time that the whole world was at peace, well, we're due. We're overdue.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Bernadette.
Thank you, Bernadette. God bless you. Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas. Our YouTube family weighed in. John says, I would love more common sense in 2019. 2018 was silly. People eating Tide Pods and other stupid things. Mariana said, I'd like to see homeschooling being legalized in Brazil. Michael said the nation of Iran becomes a constitutional republic. And Liza says, I dream of 2019 to have more great Catholic apologists and greater reach of media evangelization every corner of the world. Well, Liza, let me share something with you. I think Catholic radio and television, the EWTN especially, is doing a fabulous job trying to reach every corner of the earth. And that's the reason why Jerry and I are so passionate about any time there's an opportunity for us to put our time, our talent, and our treasure, our finances behind it. I would say go for it, because we are trying to reach every corner of the world. And so we're right with you, Liza.
All right, here is your phone number to call. I say yours because the show belongs to you. Debbie and I facilitate in a sense, but you drive the conversation with your takes, your life experiences, and today your ideas, hopes, dreams, wishes for the world. They don't have to be impossibilities. They can be very, very possible. It can be something local in your area, something national to our country, something, a global desire. Put it in the form of a news headline. If you could say at some time or even at the end of 2019, we would see, whatever is on your heart in a news headline. What would that be? What would that be? 833-288-3986. We've had some great ones so far, Debbie, and I think our next caller is ready, if you want to do the honors.
Yes, Lorenzo in San Antonio, Texas on iHeartRadio. Hi, Lorenzo. Thank you for waiting and welcome. Merry Christmas.
Buenos días. Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad.
My problem here is, here in San Antonio, so many Latinos still vote for the pro-abortion candidate. And quite honestly, it's the Democratic Party. They have rejected God. If you look at September 2012 at their convention, they rejected our Lord. But even Archbishop Gustavo here, who's a good man, he still, it appears that as long as we support the poor, the illegal immigrant, that we can still vote for a candidate who is pro-abortion. And I just don't understand that. So that is my wish, that we examine the ballot and vote for the pro-life candidates. Thank you.
Well, Lorenzo, you bring up some interesting points, because what I have found in religious education, that a lot of it has to do with poor catechesis. It has to do with poorly formed Catholics. And that's why we really need to get in there. If you have something to say and you can be of a benefit in your parish community, get in there and get involved in religious education, because we just need to catechize better and to let people understand what are our non-negotiables as Catholics, and how are we supposed to govern ourselves when it comes to our faith and being in the public square. And I think, you bring up some really interesting points, Lorenzo, because I think when you really sit down with people one-on-one and you really peel back the layers and talk to them about really what's important, if they do have a faith in God, if they do believe in the tenets of the Catholic faith, they'll come to their senses about it. The problem is, I don't think we spend enough time talking about it. I think we shy away from it. We're afraid of it. We're ill-informed. We don't know what we're really doing. And so we go along with the pack. We go along with the masses. And that's unfortunate. And that's why our bishop here, Lorenzo, wrote an amazing booklet called Catholics in the Public Square by Bishop Olmsted. It's in English and it's in Spanish, and it is fabulous. And it really teaches us as Catholics what we should be looking at when we are going in there and we're voting and we're getting involved. So I just want to say, there are good stuff out there. We just have to find it, utilize it, and spread the word. And I don't know if that helps at all, Lorenzo, but I totally get your points on this.
Okay, good. Thank you. I just want to say there are people, very prominent people, even in the House. The Democrats. Nancy Pelosi is a pro-abortion Catholic. Mario Cuomo, Chris Cuomo on CNN, they are pro-abortion Catholics. All right, Gutierrez, they're pro-abortion Catholics. All right, and they're out there, and I just don't understand that. I just don't understand why more people aren't outspoken about it. The Obama administration was the most pro-abortion administration ever, but quite honestly, they wanted to see the first black elected. More people, more involved with it, but he was the most pro-abortion president we've ever had. Thank you.
Yeah, Lorenzo, real quick before you go, I think I mentioned this on the air before, and I in no way wish to, disparage in any way my beloved late mother, but she was a Democrat. I mean, she voted Democrat, and it was because of, she always used to say, well, it was the party that helped us, during the time, with labor and the little guy and those who were down and out and disadvantaged. Democrats did so many wonderful things, many, many decades ago, and there are still Democrats who are right-thinking and pro-life and do the right thing today. But obviously, the parties have polarized, and they become more radical in abortion, say, on one side and on life on the other side. But I would always scratch my head, and even sometimes very politely, I would bring it up with my mom, well, do you realize, that candidate with the D next to his or her name is very staunchly pro-life, and my mother was a very, very devout Catholic, and quite frankly, Lorenzo, there was just a blind spot. I got to the point where I didn't hold it against her. I just realized she was going off of, all of this history of her entire life and her people. She called her ancestors. Our people always, voted this way because this was the party that helped us get to where we are today and so forth. So I think a lot of those those blind spots, if you will, prejudices or whatever, don't translate over necessarily into the more important areas that they should. I'm not letting anybody off the hook here. I'm not giving anybody a pass, but I'm just simply saying that maybe, I don't know if that's the case in with the people that
Mm-hmm.
Lorenzo, but I'm just offering that as my dear mother. That's kind of the way she operated, Debbie, and I know you understand that. You probably have friends and family who've thought the same way, and
Mm-hmm.
But still, I love Lorenzo's passion for this, and I would love to see the headline that he has put forth sometime in 2019, for sure.
Yeah, I think we just need better catechesis, Lorenzo. We really do. We got to get out there and start, letting people really understand what the Catholic faith is all about, and so that could really help move hearts, and that's important. So, but yeah, I agree. I love your conviction, love your passion. Keep it up. And keep speaking the truth. The truth will set you free, and it's awesome, and God will give you that power. So it's you got a great heart, Lorenzo. I just love where your heart is at about this, and also you care about the unborn. You care about those that are so helpless, and that is important to remember that. So. Wow. Good call.
Yeah. Thank you, Lorenzo, very much. We appreciate that. And it's very possible that his people he's referring to are probably younger, at least more, more of a younger generation than, say, my mother was and some other people. So a lot of factors go into something like that. But Lorenzo, God bless you. Feliz Navidad, and have a wonderful 2019.
Thank you,
Take
Lorenzo.
two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. Let's see. Did
I get all the YouTube
media.
and Facebook comments? You
did.
erased them already. You didn't. You were so quick.
You blew right through them. Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we can get started on a call here. We're going to have to pause in just a couple of minutes. So, Michelle,
okay.
we'll get started with you. We may have to jump in and carry you over. But Michelle in Concord, New Hampshire, listening on Hope FM to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hello, Michelle. Happy Merry Christmas to you.
Hi, guys. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. So what
my
headline would you like to
for
see?
So it kind of is in step with Lorenzo there, but it would be to see that all politicians begin to work together and put our country first before, their own intentions, their own partisanship, and just all of us to become united like we once were.
Mm-hmm. Michelle, I totally agree with you, but you're named Michelle. You spell it with what it has on the screen here, 1L. So you're named after Saint Michael the Archangel. I would be praying to Saint Michael, because I'll tell you what, this is just my personal opinion. I think what's happened with these politicians is unbelievably sad. Nobody's using the facts anymore. They're not even dealing with what their constituents want, what their people want, who they serve. They don't have a servant's heart. It's all selfish desires. It's horrible. And somehow that pendulum's got to switch. Has to go all the way over if we're going to see a change in this, Michelle. It frustrates me to no end. I can't even watch the news. I get so frustrated because you can just see the selfish desires coming out of them, and it's not for the good of all people. Would you agree with that, Michelle, when you watch?
Yeah, I really would.
Yeah.
Yeah,
horrible.
I agree. And, Michelle, you raised such an important point. Let's think about this for a minute. How often do we hear the discussion anyway, the very, very limited, not very serious, casual conversation about term limits, for example?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think, when this country was founded and politics kind of got underway in this country, there was ever the idea that somebody was going to serve in Congress for 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. I mean, my
and
goodness.
Get health care.
If they had term limits, if they had other things that held them accountable, things would be a whole lot different. Michelle, we hope that your headline comes true in 2019.
We're so glad you're with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're talking today about breaking news. If you could write the headlines for the beginning of 2019, what would it say? Be creative. Think outside the box. What is on your heart and mind? I just want to go back real quickly to Michelle's call from New Hampshire, Jerry. That just really... It just really got to me because I have felt that for so long. I know you don't even watch the secular news because it just drives you crazy as well. I mean, wouldn't it be great if we could have this whole group of politicians that rise up and say, we're going to just do just a short term to serve the country. We're going to take a minimal salary. We don't want anything. We want to be here just to help and to build the United States. Wouldn't that be refreshing?
It would. It would. I've always used the analogy that, you had, way back when, obviously earlier in our country, so many people were farmers, for example, or, built railroads and things like this. And they had families that were trying to raise their families, educate their kids, get their kids married, make their kids successful. And, maybe a gentleman, would leave the farm for a few years, maybe reluctantly because he had to be away from his family. But he thought, you know what, I can make a difference in 2 years, or I can make a difference in 4 years as the mayor or as a congressman or something. But it was like there was this, impatience to get back to what he was really felt called by God to do, and that was work the land and raise food and make a living for his family and raise his family. And nowadays, it's become this, the political sphere has become a career. I don't think that was, I don't know. I mean, I may be offending some political science majors or politicians out there, but I just don't think it's ultimately in the best interest of our country to have, the men and women serving, for decades, in politics.
Right.
That's my own opinion.
Yeah.
Don't beat me up too much over it.
No, I think it's very valid. Okay, let's hear what Carrie has to say. And Carrie's in Mobile, Alabama, on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Carrie. Welcome. Merry Christmas.
Hi. We actually are from Kailua, Hawaii, but we are traveling through Mobile. Merry Christmas to you as well.
Thank you.
If I had a headline, it would be humans use less single-use plastics.
Wow. Okay.
Basically,
yeah, go ahead. Explain a little for us.
Oh, sorry. So my husband and I are research scientists in Oahu and scuba divers. He works in the National Monument, and he sees the effects of plastics, like in remote places. And people have found Spam Musubi cans 3.5 miles down, and there's a lot of single-use plastics like forks, containers, wrapping, bags that wash up on the beaches all the time, and we just see it in our environment. And as Catholics, it's important for us to respect the environment and to be aware of how our choices are, potentially killing sea animals, sea life, and causing a lot of pollution for our children and our children's children. And I would just like to see people use less single-use plastics that will pollute the environment. Also plastics cause problems with hormones, especially with young kids, especially plastic bottles that are left in the sun. They can have synthetic estrogen, which, gets into our kids and affects things that we don't even know.
Right.
That's
Carrie, it's a very beautiful headline, and boy, it's one that I know that Debbie and I would share with you. We would love to see humans reduce single-use plastics, and I mean, what all that you're saying is so very, very true, and the damage and the harm. I remember seeing on TV, the pictures of these small birds, ducks, and geese, and so forth. They pull out of the water, and they've got one of those. I don't think they even make them anymore, if I'm not mistaken. Those 6-pack, they used to put cans in those plastic 6-pack holder things. And they'd be all enmeshed in those things and so forth, and just really almost dead, or a lot of them do die. And I just wonder, and I don't think this is a difficult question to answer. I think this is a much deeper problem. Carrie, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, Debbie, you too. I mean, people just are not thinking. People are careless, they're prideful, they're arrogant. We take our trash and we just toss it out the window. If we're having a picnic, we just throw it, off to the side somewhere. Everywhere we go, there's garbage, there's trash. And like you said, Carrie, this stuff is going to get into those habitats, if you will, where wildlife is, and of course it's going to be harmful to people as well. So this would be an amazing feat, Debbie, if we could pull this off. Carrie's got something important here.
Yeah, I love your conviction on this, Carrie. And the thing I just wanted to say is this goes back again, in my opinion, to Saint Teresa of Calcutta. We've got to start in our homes. We've got to start in our families. We got to start where we can control our, in the sphere around us that we can control, and just be cognizant that convenience is not always the best thing for the future. And we've got to think ahead like that. I've often said this, Carrie. Tell me if you can relate to this. I think that that women, as mothers especially, we have this ability to think 7 steps down the road. Okay, when you're a mom, you're always thinking, okay, if my kid goes out the door and then goes down the street, they could get hit by a car, and then you're thinking 7 steps down the road. We are very good at that. I don't know. I think the good Lord has given us that ability, especially when we are raising children. I wish we could get like that as just in the world, where we could think 7 steps or 10 steps down the road and say, if I use this, if I do this, yes, it's for my convenience, it's for my luxury, but I could be ultimately hurting my grandchild down the road. And if we could just start to be aware of that, don't you think possibly we could shift it a little bit and start to get to a better, a planet where we're protecting what God has given us?
Yes, it is difficult in our environment. Plastic is pushed on us, but there are sometimes, with as much as you can control, to, if you're going on a picnic with your children, maybe bring a reusable fork and just wash it when you're done. Or I know that cloth diapering is hard for some women. I personally have found that it's it really reduces my plastic in some ways too. I bring a reusable fork with me wherever I go. But it can be hard, and I definitely understand that, just even small steps every day. Maybe if you buy meat, buy it in paper wrapped at Whole Foods or something like that, rather than in styrofoam and plastic. Just like little things that we can do, as you said, like as Teresa of Calcutta, start in the home.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
Hopefully see things turn around for the better, and we can have a more positive future for ocean, animals, wildlife. Just like the chemicals in our environment as well.
Right.
Reduce those for our children, because they do stay. A lot of them do.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the work that you do and your husband does. Thank you so much for doing that. And thank you for raising our awareness on this, because the more, that's, as human beings, we have to be reminded many times, because we live in this world where everything's coming at us so fast. So this is always helpful. We just want to thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Little steps. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, I think even many of us who are believers, followers of Christ, of the Lord, members of the church, if you will, understand that God, at least in some crevice in the back of our minds, sometimes occasionally manage to recall that God created everything around us, created the world, gave it to us as a gift, but not only as a gift, but to be stewards of. It's very clear in Genesis that God set Adam and Eve and gave them stewardship over all the earth. And, of course, the church would talk very, very candidly, Debbie, in the catechism and in social teaching and even in the commandments. I'm sure you could find it under one of the commandments, to care for the earth. And I know a lot of people, this raises it gets a lot of ears up, Debbie, because then a lot of the people think that there are those who, are so much focused on that they focus nothing on God. But simply on the creation rather than creator. That is a problem too, but it's not an either-or. It's not an either-or. It's a both-and.
True. Okay, our friend Bernadette from Cleveland's The Rock weighed in and said her headline would be Catholics Coming Back in Droves, Dramatic Increase in Vocations. I love it, Bernadette. Great headline. That would be wonderful. Let's pray for that.
Yeah,
okay.
And Karen sent an email to take2@EWTN.com. And Karen said her headline would be, The Blessed Virgin Mary Appears in the U.S. And actually there is, I know, an approved apparition site in outside of Green Bay in Wisconsin. Right. I don't know if Our Lady is currently appearing there or has recently, but apparently she has at some point. But yeah, that would be an awesome thing. I'd see a lot of people flocking to a place like that, as I imagine they are to the one up in Wisconsin.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, Lynn is up next in Houston, Texas on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hi, Lynn. Thanks for waiting, and Merry Christmas.
Hi, Merry Christmas. I would just love to share with the caller that will be driving to be with his father. Louis Edward is his father. So he's going to have cancer surgery, and there were some prayer cards about our church that there was a Dominican priest who is not a Catholic yet, a saint yet. He's a Catholic priest, and he's venerated in the Catholic Church. His name is Father Louis Cancer, and I think his last name, it says De Bastro, and he was martyred in June 1549 while being in a mission in Florida, close to Tampa Bay. Like I said, he's not a saint yet, but he's looking to do miracles. And if the caller would be able to get a prayer card and pray for the intercession of this saint, St. Louis Cancer, maybe put the prayer card on his father's chest or be blessed with it. Maybe the father will receive a miracle, and Father Louis will have his way to sainthood.
Well, God bless you, Lynn, for calling in. And I just texted the gentleman who was asking for prayers for his father. Louis Edward, I think, is, as you correctly quoted it there.
You texted Sean Patrick?
Yeah, I texted Sean Patrick. Yeah, and his father is definitely going Louis Edward. So if you could do us a favor, Lynn, Sean is probably listening still right now, and maybe he'll text or email back. But if you could email us information about that person that you're talking about, who this could help to move him along the road to beatification, that would be wonderful. I'd love to know about him as well, as I'm sure Debbie would, and it would be another resource for us to be able to point our listeners to. And I know that Sean would love to have information about that. So, Lynn, do you think you'd be able to just fire off an email to us with a link or something, just so we could learn more about that?
Yes, it was a prayer card at our church, but I did Google and I just asked for Father Louis Edward. I'm talking about his dad. I can't get his dad out of my mind. I've been praying for him since he called. Aww. So this father, this martyr, came to my mind, and I'm not really sure, but I know if we pray for the intercession of Father Louis Cancer for this dear father the father of this caller, we would be, and I will send an email, but I just don't know, I'm just so excited and hoping and praying that, he will receive the healing and the miracle from the surgery, and just all the callers everywhere that are listening that will be able to pray and intercede. I'm just very excited and very hopeful that all will come out well.
Yeah. Absolutely. And also, too, let's all pray for the surgeons, that everybody that's in the operating room, because it's very important that they are skilled and they do well. And, the guardian angels are there helping them. And, everybody, it's a group effort, we pray. And Lynn, that's just so beautiful. I hope Sean Patrick is listening to this broadcast, because, he can hear your heart and how much you care about his father, and see how we're all connected. Did you just get something back from Sean Patrick, Jerry? Yeah.
He said, I will pray to Father Louis Cancer also. Thank you very much. He says, praise Jesus. Thank you very much, Lynn. So we are having listeners talk to each other without actually talking to each other, but they're talking to each other electronically, Lynn. So you have been thanked by Sean, our emailer, asking for prayers for his dad. And you came through with that, Lynn. Thanks so much.
Yep.
Thank you. And I'll continue to pray for all your callers. God bless you. And Merry Christmas. Healthy New Year.
Oh, thank you, Lynn. You're a beautiful soul. We just love that you're part of the Take Two family. Thank you so very much.
Well, yeah, I just mentioned, Debbie, Lynn is listening on the radio and calling in, and Sean is listening and texting in. See, with modern technology, there are so very many ways that we can be a part of listening to the great EWTN programming and watching EWTN television. One of the newer ways, actually, it's still fairly new, a lot of people have them, are the home helper devices, that Google Home and Amazon Echo. And I know that EWTN radio is available on audio platforms like Amazon Echo. You can listen to EWTN radio just by saying, Alexa, play EWTN radio. It's another reason that EWTN is everywhere. So, folks, keep that in mind. If you're in a bit of a bind and you're not sure how you're going to listen on a regular basis, just get an Amazon Echo and you can listen to EWTN radio.
Okay, you can call in if you'd like to share your headline for 2019 at 1-833-288-3986. You'll get right in. Eileen weighed in on email. She says for her headline would be All Christians Unite in Prayer. I love that, Eileen. Tony says for the scandals in the church to end. Peace on earth. Everyone has food and water. And a roof over their heads. All people can get along. For homosexuality and transgenders. And it, oh wow, see, they want, see, this is what, okay, Tony on Facebook, what you're sharing is you want things to be revealed in truth. And what you're talking about when you're saying, about homosexuality and transgenders and the scandals in the church, you want the truth to be revealed to people so that they can make the best decisions for their life and for eternity. Okay. And I think, Tony, you make a very valid point there, because I think we're being fed and filtered things that are supposedly the truth, but they're not good for us. And it's not in our best interest. And Tony, it shows that you care about other human beings, you care about the church, and you want the truth to be revealed so people can live their best life. That's what my takeaway is on your Facebook post, Tony. And I think that's very good. Jerry?
Indeed, Tony. Thank you so much. Did you read Mike or Ken's yet?
I was holding that for you.
All right, Ken on Facebook, his headline he would like to see in 2019, President Mike Pence takes office as parties unite after 2 years of chaos. So Ken would like to see some unification going on in Washington, D.C., and the parties actually joining together and getting along and doing what is in the best interest of our country all the time. Mm-hmm. So that would be pretty cool.
I totally agree with Maureen's headline, children reconcile with their parents, especially those damaged by divorce. My hope for 2019. Maureen, I'm going to take that on with you. Let's pray for that together. I think that is awesome. And, Jerry, there's a lot of families that are hurting right now, very disconnected. And I think we need to really ramp up the prayer for that, because families do need to come together. We know that Satan is attacking marriage and family. So we need to protect our families. And that's part of the prayer challenge we're going to be talking about for 2019. So we can all kind of participate in this. I like this topic today, Jerry. It's kind of leading up to our 2019 challenge.
All right. Well, I think Sean has actually had a moment to be able to call into the program and share his sentiments on what we've been talking about regarding his dad and Lynn's beautiful contribution to that. Hi, Sean. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi, Jerry and Debbie. Thank you so much for taking my calls. I am just, as Debbie says, I am just so overwhelmed by the Holy Spirit right now, and just so thankful. God bless you, Lynn. I'm praying for you and Father Cancer, and I don't know how else to say it, but how ironic. We're praying for Father Cancer, and I'm praying that my father beats cancer. And I just feel so blessed. I just know that people all over the world are listening, and every time I listen to you guys, Monday through Friday, on my work cubicle, I'm just so thankful and I just feel so connected. Thank God for St. Mother Angelica, Rita Rizzo. I mean, thank God for everything. Thank God I'm back in the Catholic Church after being born a Catholic and falling away after Catholic in middle school and high school, and just, going out there and just making all those mistakes. And Jerry, I'm just blown away that in real time you get back to me when I text you, no matter how late it is, and you're just so conscientious. And I love you guys so much. I'm just so overwhelmed. New Year's Eve when I'm praying in the little church in the Corning, New York hospital for my father to have a successful surgery. But for the grace of God, he survived cancer to his ducts, his bile ducts, and he survived the multiple infections after that. I'm going to keep praying, and thank you all so much for praying for him. One of his kidneys is enlarged. He's got cancer in his bladder, cancer in his prostate. But wow, I am just blown away. I'm so overwhelmed by the Holy Spirit right now. Thank you all so much for your prayers. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm going to be quiet right now and just pray, and just thank you so much.
Well, Sean, we're just happy that you feel lifted up by prayer, and we just hope that you continue to feel that as you're going through this. You're a great son, and I just think it's wonderful that you have relied on your family, your Catholic family, so that we can take part and journey with you. And we're grateful to you that you entrust to us things that mean the most to you, your family members. And so thank you for that. And I know that I can speak on behalf of Lynn because you could hear it from her heart. She kept saying, your dad is on, Sean's dad is on my mind. He's on my mind. I'm going to be praying for him. That's what happens when we really put action behind what we say we believe. When we really start living it out, we start to feel very connected to one another. And I just want to say, I hope you continue to feel that going all through this, Sean. And by the way, Sean, I did message you and I reached out to you. So I hope you got my messages as well. Okay.
I did. I did, and thank you so much. I'm praying for your children. I'm praying for all of us worldwide. Again, thank God for Mother Angelica. Listening to God and just ignoring everybody else. So just be quiet. I mean, this global Catholic radio network. It's connecting everybody. My dad listens to it. I know he does. I don't know if he's listening right now, but I know, God bless him. He's still on a bench. He's a judge, and he still goes to work every day. He's got 2 abscesses in his liver, and he's just dealing with that. And he gets up and he goes to work, and it's just, again, but for the grace of God. God bless everybody who's listening. God bless you, Debbie, your family, Jerry. Thank you so much. God bless everybody. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Sean, and we'll close with what we said to Lynn. I'm not familiar with the father cancer that she talked about, and apparently his cause is perhaps at some stage of moving forward. It's the first time I've heard about it. So, like we asked Lynn, if you're able to uncover any information or details or anything, just email us some links or text them to us or something. We would love to know more about that individual, and as Lynn said, he could become a new advocate for those dealing with cancer and various other things. So bless you, Sean. Our prayers go with you New Year's Eve. We'll be with you in spirit with your father, Louis Edward.
Yes.
And do keep us posted. Let us know how that goes. And thanks so much for all of your prayers for us and for joining in on the program today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sean. Roberto in Houston, Texas on Guadalupe Radio Network. We have just a couple minutes, but we wanted to get you on the air. Hi, Roberto. Welcome and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you and Happy New Year. God bless you for your show. Thank you. We love it. I wanted to echo my comment to your earlier caller, Lorenzo, because I identify with him. I go through the same ordeal, so to speak. I've been a Catholic for forever, and I'm a lector at the cathedral here downtown. I'm a extraordinary minister of the Holy Communion, and as a volunteer, I teach RCI.
I think did we lose Roberto?
I hope not. He started to say he's part of RCIA, so he's part of religious education. Roberto, I'm so sorry. We think we got disconnected from you, but you were echoing what Lorenzo had to say. But I just wanted to say real quickly, thank you for being in religious education. That's very important, and that's part of what we're talking about good catechesis. Do we have you back on? Nope. Okay.
Okay.
Do you see?
No, apologies about that, Roberto. Not sure what happened there. You're still showing on our call screen here, but we cannot hear anything that you're saying. So, but I believe that he wanted to just call in and kind of in support of what Lorenzo said earlier. And so we note that, Roberto, and we thank you for your call, and we appreciate that so much. And also your Christmas and New Year's greetings. We appreciate that very, very much. That means a lot to us. And, Debbie and I and Rich and Jeff and Ryan and Michael all extend that to each and every one of you as well. We do have some other some social media and some emails, Debbie.
Okay, and Jerry, can I just say, Roberto, if you're still listening, call back tomorrow. We have Unscripted tomorrow. We'd love to hear the rest of your take on this. I mean, you can always remember, Unscripted is tomorrow. We can revisit past shows, suggest future topics, whatever. So please, we want to hear from you. Or you can always email us, take2, the number 2, at EWTN.com. Okay, Jerry.
No, I'm laughing because Jeff just put. We have a shared doc online that we get. He posts the social media. He takes them off the social media and puts them on his Google Doc. And John on YouTube. John, bless you, John. John said his headline would be in 2019: Breaking News. Jerry and Debbie, best EWTN talk show hosts in 2019.
Is that for real?
All right, John. Yeah,
we'll take it, John.
He must have gotten the check that I sent him. He wanted payment in advance for that. He didn't want to.
John, we love you. John gets our virtual favorite listener viewer award, right?
Yeah.
I love that. Thanks, John. That made our year. Nobody's ever said that to us before.
Let me see here. There are so many on email right now. Jane, her breaking news headline, studies link healing ministry at medical center, cut surgery numbers performed by 90%. Oh, so she'd love to see healing ministry at medical centers. Okay, great.
Ryan Penny, our call screener, weighed in. He wants to put his headline in for 2019. He says this would be a good headline. The whole world becomes Catholic. Even Catholics becoming Catholic.
Even Catholics. We got an email
Ryan's
from...
so
it just says the Zupan family. Rick, I'm sorry. Rick's headline, Clergy Purged of Homosexuals, Church Rejects Novus Ordo Mass, Returns to Traditional Latin Mass. So, Rick, you've got some strong feelings about some of that stuff as well. Suzanne, my dream headline for 2019, birth rate among Catholics highest since baby boom after World War II.
Wow.
And she says, God bless Jerry and Debbie and all your technical support team. There are others. Suzanne, thank you. I wish we'd get to all of them. Wow, this was kind of a fun, but also I think a very serious and helpful conversation.
Absolutely. Well, tomorrow's Unscripted. You can share anything with us. We just love to hear from you, and that's tomorrow. So until then, have a beautiful and blessed day.